Hello and welcome to Off the Bench, where you get the perspective of the passionate, well-informed sports fan. Today, with my analysts, Kevin Cornegay, Javon Tavares, and myself, Sean Dustin, we're going to talk 2017 NFL Draft. We're going to talk second round of the NBA playoffs, and we're going to introduce a new segment today called On the Bench. So stay tuned, stay engaged, and you guys are going to get a handful of great opinions today and great solid analysis from our panel. Today, guys, look, the NFL Draft, okay? It was hot, heavy. There was late grades. There was controversial picks. There's winners. There's losers. Exciting time, you know, as an NFL fan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk winners, losers. Let's talk some of these head scratchers. You know, starting off, we had the Bears. Count them, 4 picks. The 3rd pick, the 67th pick, the 111th pick, and a 2018 third rounder, all to move up to number 2 to get North Carolina's quarterback, Mitchell. Guys, I need to know, do the Bears know something that I don't? Or was this the 2017 Louisiana Purchase? Kevin, tell me something, Kevin.
Well, I think when you talk about the Bears, let's be honest, they got fleeced in the deal. Now,
that was the word. That's the exact word I was going to use.
Right. Now, I'm all for if there's a quarterback that you like, that you must have, I'm all for making the move to go get him. With the exception of this, they needed to play their cards right because they should have known San Francisco wasn't going to select a quarterback. San Francisco is waiting in the offseason for them to make a play at Kirk Cousins. That's been out there. General managers know what's going on. Kirk Cousins basically said so after he signed the franchise tender with Washington. He said, hey, I'll play this 1 year, and then after that, I'll see what happens. He wants to reunite with Kyle Shanahan. So if you're the Bears, they panicked. They got the guy that they wanted, but it came at a steep price. They moved up 1 spot. They gave up 2/3, a 4th. They gave up, I believe, 2/3 and 2/4, and a 1/3 for next year. And those are starters. When you talk about the 3rd round, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds, you're talking about legitimate starters.
Right.
Guys that are going to be in the rotation. Guys that you can plug in special teams right away, get them developed, and in a year or two, they're going to be taking a veteran's job. So that's what you're talking about, 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. And I just think Chicago depleted their draft picks. They got to rebuild. They're going to be a bad football team this year. They're going to be a bad football team next year. I will say this, though. I give them credit for their aggression. Going out.
Now, Kevin.
Yeah.
As a 49er fan, are you ecstatic about, you know, what you got in return?
Absolutely. Because the 49ers, first of all, it's a new day and age. It's a new era down there in Santa Clara for the 49ers headquarters. They have a general manager and a head coach who know what they're doing. I have to give props to Jed York. He hired some individuals who know what they're doing, and he's gotten out of the way. Okay? No more Twitter, no more leaks to the media. All that stuff is gone. Allow these men, empower these men to do their job. And what they did was they got 2 of my top 10 players on my draft board. They got both of them in the 1st round and traded down to get the number 3 player on my board, Solomon Thomas. So San Francisco, one of the teams that definitely gets an A. Reuben Foster.
And you guys needed to get more formidable at the line. We're talking defensive tackles. We're talking, tackles. We're talking, you guys needed to get stronger up front.
Absolutely. And, there were some individuals saying, hey, you guys have drafted a defensive lineman, the last 2 years. first round. But what they didn't do, they didn't draft a defensive lineman who is as versatile as a Solomon Thomas, a guy who's going to man similar to Michael Bennett up in Seattle. That's how
you're talking sideline to sideline.
Sideline to sideline. He can play every position on the line. 3 technique, he can play that. Absolutely. So I love what the 49ers did. And, again, they get an A. They're one of the draft winners for me.
Okay, now, Javon, going back to this Chicago deal, is this Herschel Walker all over again? All of these draft picks, or do you feel that this may now obviously the Bears being thirsty at the quarterback position, they've had horrible quarterback play in the name of Jay Cutler, and they signed a guy in the offseason. This guy's not going to have to be an immediate impact guy, but maybe starting sooner than later. What are your feelings about it?
So I got to agree with Kev on this. He's as big a 49er fan as you'll find out there. But the Chicago Bears absolutely got fleeced for that trade up one spot. However, I will say this. I do respect an organization that's willing to go out and trade for what they think may be a potential solid starter / Pro Bowler, a franchise quarterback. So
even when he wasn't going to get picked anyway.
Here's the thing. Now here's where relationships come in. Okay, John Lynch, first and foremost. Let me give credit where credit is due. I think if you'll allow me to compare John Lynch to someone like Vlade Divac. Vlade Divac is new to the basketball operations GM role. And you see the moves that he made with the Sacramento Kings. And you take a look at John Lynch. Now he's a Stanford guy. He's a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
You take a look at what he's been able to do as a rookie. And he told us a couple months back, back when he accepted the job, he said, there's going to be a lot of moves. We're going to be aggressive. 49er Nation, you can expect for these things to happen. So I think he was very savvy by allowing that trade to go down with the Bears. But here's where relationships come, and I'm not sure that we fully considered this, but when you have relationships with other GMs and you can get in their ear and kind of work together to put certain rumors out there. So I don't think we expected the 49ers to take a quarterback, but nevertheless, there may be another franchise that would say, hey, you know what, we really like Mitchell Trubisky, and it was reported that were several franchises that were interested in bringing Trubisky in. They said, hey, you know what? 49ers, let's work with my buddy John Lynch to put a rumor out there that we want to trade up to get Mitchell Trubisky. And if you're the Chicago Bears, if you're the Chicago Bears and he is absolutely the number one guy on your board, you do what you have to do. Now, if Mitchell Trubisky turns out to be everything that the Bears thinks he's going to be, and he's one of the better quarterbacks in this draft, was it too high a price to pay? I don't think so. I don't think that there's a such thing as too high a price for a franchise.
This sounds a lot. This sounds a lot like collusion. It sounds a lot like collusion.
Listen. It's no surprise that the whole pre-NFL draft is all about putting feelers out there. It's all about making teams think you're going to zig when you're really going to zag. And again, I think this was a situation where there was talk, where there were some teams saying, hey, we would like to trade up with the 49ers to potentially take Mitchell Trubisky. If you're the Bears front office, if this is your number one guy on the board, you can't leave that to chance.
Right.
So I respect the fact that they moved up. But now, back to Kevin's point. When you're trying to rebuild an organization, you need to stockpile draft picks. As he mentioned, 3rd rounders, 4th rounders, these are potential starters. If nothing else, they're guys that can come in and play special teams from day one. So the Chicago Bears, I understand that you want to get your franchise quarterback, but you also don't need to be giving up draft picks that can help that quarterback as well. Now remember, Kevin White, who was their 1st round wide receiver taken a couple years ago, didn't play most of last year, or didn't play all of last year because of a bad foot. This is one of the weapons that Mitchell Trubisky is going to depend on.
Mm-hmm.
But 3rd round next year, they can't get another receiver.
It definitely
Fourth round,
it definitely looks like he's not the only one in the organization that's putting a bad foot forward.